and he was very, very good in basketball, but he chose to go to Florida State on a scholarship for tennis, and did very well there, and then got invited to, what's that small little tennis event they do in New York every year? What's that? Wimbledon, let's see, French Open, what's it called? US Open. And so in 1939, excuse me. That one's, thank God he's not my downline, he can't resign. In 1969, I was in diapers and he was in the US Open. It's true. It was true. So, thank God his mic is off right now. I appreciate that. Thanks, guys. Carlos, thank you. So our first speaker is an athlete, high-energy gentleman. He has the top 4 recruiter in the entire United States. It's because you'll see very quickly his infectious way of speaking and sharing about these products, and he definitely infected me in a wonderful way that night, and I'll ever be so grateful for his energy and his presentation. The second gentleman that's coming up, I saw very early in my career, and he's a royal ambassador, one of just 2 in the world. And I saw him in Southern California when I lived here, and I thought, wow, how can a man make that much money and not own an iron? Aren't irons like, I don't know, $29.95 at Bed Bath & Beyond? So he'd come with wrinkled pants and a wrinkled shirt, and I'm like, if this guy can do it, I think I can do this. Because I own an iron, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So our next speaker, if you haven't noticed, who is it?
Dave Johnson.
Okay. So we have Dave Johnson following up right after Rapp. So please welcome to the stage one of the man that's radically changed my life all the way from Las Vegas, Rapp!
Good afternoon, Del Mar, California. What a great place to be. Isn't this exciting?
Yeah.
Well, those of us that have been fortunate to spend a little time in Las Vegas know there's one statement that comes out of the sports world in Las Vegas, and it is, let's get ready to rumble! In about my 5th year in Nikan, I got a chance to do that for the first time on stage, and what you get to do in Nikan is a lot of fun stuff. And I always thought that was really a great battle cry. So when I get out of bed in the morning, that's the first thing I yell at the top of my lungs. Grace doesn't like it, but it gets me going. My topic today is winning. My email address is Winner's Wellness. My book is called Fit to Win. And I think it goes back when I was a high school student. I had a bulletin board above my desk, and it was a picture of a tennis player, and under it said, champions always give 110%. So I had it in my mind, and that's a logical thing. Don't just give 100% or 90%. Go beyond what's expected of you. Always do more than you think you need to. Now, on the topic of winning, I talked to a handful of consultants, and I have a few questions that they asked, and I thought that this might be a way to explain some of my thinking when it comes to winning. One of the questions was, how do you create urgency? Have you noticed that people are a little bit slow to move off the dime and make a decision to get their credit card out and invest in their products and invest in themselves? So I talk about the future. I'm a tennis pro now in Las Vegas at the Valleys Hotel. I'm talking to people who are pre-qualified that they should be interested in Nikan because they're playing a sport that's got some inherent injuries in it, like knee problems, elbow problems, back problems. So they're pre-qualified that they want to play better, but they also want to play without injuries. So I asked them, well, how are you feeling? How are your knees? And they say, well, I'm okay. I said, you want to stay that way? Where do you want to be 20 years from now? You won't have to quit playing because your knees get bad or something. So they said, what do you mean? I said, well, I've been using some technologies for 25 years, and at 70 years old, I still am playing tennis, playing basketball, skiing 5 hours a day. I show them my flexibility, and they can't believe it. And I said, I've been in the sun 50 years. The wrinkles went away in 3 months wearing a sleep mask. I still wear it 22 years later, and I have less wrinkles than you do, and you look like my father. I don't say that very often, but every now and then, if I can get away with it, I kind of shake them up a little bit. But I've created urgency in anytime there was a contest, and some of you have heard that I won a couple of contests here and there, and Team Kaizen for 5 years. And what I do is I always create a picture where those people could help me if they choose to win a contest or win a trip. And the trip to Italy was something I wanted to do, and so in December of last year, I just talked to people like that. I'm looking for some people that want to help me win this contest to Italy. I have strict instructions from my wife that we've got to go, and all we needed was 6 new silvers. So I thought, well, let me go for 6 new silvers front level and make a double Paragon Award out of it. So that's what I did. I took a whiteboard at my house and put 6 lines on there and some lines below it, and lo and behold, by the end of the month, people had shown up. And that's just what I can tell you about it. When you create a vision for people that they're helping you, you might want to write this down. People will do 90% more for someone else than they will for themselves. Up to 90% more, almost a double effort. Because for themselves, they're a little bit shy, they're a little bit fearful. How many of you know what the root of fear is? Failure. And at my church one day, the pastor gave us a statement about fear. Fear is a focus issue. And I thought about my students in tennis. They hit the ball in the net because they didn't really go through and complete the shot. They didn't make a committed stroke. Well, people are afraid of commitment. Fear is false expectations appearing real. So I noticed that many times people will get in a weekend and they won't want to set a goal. They won't want to invest in their products, but they're afraid. Or they've got one person has a spouse that's not going to really be on board with weekend. So you got to find people who will push to make themselves go better. In the initial days of weekend, we would call something a push when you wanted to get to platinum in like 60 days or 90 days or 120 days or whatever. So we would talk about, okay, we're going to go on a push. We're all going to give 110%, and we're going to make something happen, and we're going to create momentum. All-out massive action was fun. I mean, we did that all the time in the 80s and 90s. So it's something that kind of is a little bit less talked about now, because people don't want to be put under pressure. And that's just the way the world is. But the reality of it is, you almost always get something that's gone beyond your normal performance level when you make a level like Royal Diamond or make your pin moves to platinum. Big goals. I like to put those big goals on a board so you can look at it daily. Don't forget that if you put that in front of your eyes all the time, you start to focus on it more than you normally focus on things. So I've always used a big whiteboard to get those ideas in front of me, and it's fun to see how the people show up. What do you think the biggest obstacle is for people? You know, we know about the challenges. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I don't want to talk to my family and friends. Why do you believe this? Why do you see South America doing so well? In those countries, people embrace alternative health care. They love the idea of working with family and friends. And they don't have a negative attitude about networking or MLM. They don't have any negativity. When I first went down to Bogota, the first thing they showed me at a wellness review was the water coming out of the sink was yellow. It was a real interesting, positive influence on people finding out about our water technology. But in most cases, what you've got to do with people is you've got to get their focus off of the fears and onto what the benefits of doing the business are. It's really fun to talk about my story because it's not a story of the largest amount of money coming in, but when you've been a tennis pro working for $25,000 a year teaching tennis for 12 months, and all of a sudden you've got checks like that every month from just residual income, it's like going to heaven without dying. And that's really kind of what I share with people. I say, how many tennis pros can have their income come in 1 month that you normally would take a year to have come in? We had a lot of leaders when I started who were visionaries. I think that was a great group of people that were present when I got started. It's exciting to be around people like us. Has anybody talked negative this last couple of days? Did anybody complain? No. And in the Bible, you never saw a story where someone complained and complained and complained, and then God blessed him. It doesn't happen that way. So when you get in this environment, it's just like a little taste of heaven where you can be around people that are optimistic, and really you would feel uncomfortable complaining in this environment with the company. With the company we have, it's got the greatest products ever offered to people. And I'm so excited anytime we add a new nutritional, because this is the greatest creation on earth. Each of us has one. And our brain is the greatest computer on the planet. And each of us has one, free and clear. But we've got to learn to use it and not let it get clogged up with some bad thinking. So focus, fear is a focus issue. You got to focus on what you want. And tennis players want to have great strokes, but they stop their stroke. They don't finish it strong. And I started teaching that. I said, why are you slowing your swing down? They don't know. I said, you're afraid of missing. If you're afraid of missing on all your shots, you will keep missing. For a network marketer and any consultant, if you're afraid to finance your business, you're going to always finish second. You're not going to perform. Confidence breeds success. If you have faith, things are going to get better. You know, you create your own world by what you say and what you think. This is the most fertile area, and growing up on a farm, I knew if we planted seeds, we got crops. So I plant a lot of seeds. If people say, how do you prospect so many people? I talk to the guy that takes my garbage. I talk to anybody that will spend time with me a little bit to at least give them a chance to open their eyes to what could be. Most people lean toward negativity because they're in a negative environment. What do I look for in a prospect? I thought about this long and hard, and I look for passion. If someone's passionate about something, that means they're engaged. They're in the race. It may be passionate about music. It may be passionate about their children. But if they are experiencing a passionate experience in life, they're paying attention to life. Some people are on autopilot, just going through the motions, not really responding. I do my strength test on people in my tennis shop. I show them my flexibility. I talk about where do you want to be in 20 years. I ask some people, most of the people are financially well off. If they come to the hotel and are spending $150, $200 a day at a hotel, they're not really looking for money, but do you have anybody around you that could use some health benefits? Do you have any kids that are still living at home? I'm a successful parent. My kids don't live with me. They don't call asking for money. Thankful for that. You like that, Susan? How do you bring up Niken? I mentioned the term pre-qualified prospect. Anybody that's got a sports interest is pre-qualified. They want to perform better. They also want to perform without injuries. They might already have an injury. They want to recover from it. Okay? I use the reminder, PEP. People are interested in performance. Our products are fantastic for that. I can talk about that. After I get done running around the tennis court with a customer, they come in the shop and say, okay, what are you doing? I know you played the U.S. Open at 69. That means you're almost 70 years old. How are you running like that? I said, well, for 25 years, I've used these wellness products from a great company out of Japan. Well, what are they? And I point to the water system behind me. I point to the necklace I'm wearing. I tell them about my back pad, and I talk to them about the insoles. So they're thinking about performance enhancement. They've just seen how I run around at 70. Nobody's running around at 70. Nobody, there's more people running around in electric little wheelchairs at 70 than there are running around playing tennis. So I've got their attention. And then the next thing is energy. Number one complaint in America today is lack of energy. So I say, how's your energy? Just ran around for an hour. What do you think? I said, well, I don't feel any different than I did when I started. And you're my 5th hour today. 7 o'clock to noon. I've been giving lessons 5 hours in a row. And that gets their attention because most everybody would like to have more energy, and our products do that. And I'll let them sample the water. But I just say it's as simple as putting one product on that affects all the cells in your body right away. You're performing at 20% better. And the third P is for pain. I don't bring that up right away, but most of my students are talking about their knees bother them a little bit. They finish up, their rotator cuff's a problem. I said, you sick and tired of that yet? What are you doing? Well, I'm taking Motrin or Advil or something like that. I said, how are your kidneys like that? They don't recognize the fact that they don't look at the adverse effects of those drugs. So those are the three things: PEP, performance, energy, and pain. And we don't use the pain word. I just say you get any discomfort anywhere, and almost everybody's mentioning that they do. So that's how I get into my Niken story, and the fact that I sold $465 million of products through my team and earned almost $5 million by this summer. Now, I'm not supposed to talk about network marketing in the store, so I just kind of say, take my card, go to my website, check out the products. I lead with the products. But Another question they used to ask me is, knowing that I've been in it for 25 years and been successful, they said, what do you like most, what do you enjoy most about your Nikan journey? And you know what comes to mind right away is the word freedom. And it happened within 2 years. I taught tennis. I've been successful as a tennis pro, earning $65, $75, $80,000 a year, which is a good income for that business. But in Nikan, in 2 years, I got to $20,000 a month, which will make you very religious if you're not careful, because when that check comes in, you get down on your knees and say, God, please let me live another 30 days so I can get another check like this. I literally had tears in my eyes on the 10th of the month when I saw the checks I was getting. Checks as high as $50,000 for a month. And I had 2 controllers in my business. Susie was one of them. Well, believe me, you were a controller too. And you want a person that's an enthusiast and a controller and a promoter. But the thing is, it was other people's efforts. And then we had some wonderful people like Dr. Brad and Paula Arns that ended up going down to South America 47 times just to Colombia, I think. Now, this is the beauty of network marketing. I wasn't the issue in the income. I got to cash the checks. And I did. I give God the credit, and I cash the checks. But holding a Nikan application or being on an application is like having a lottery ticket that can pay off in millions of dollars any given time. And it did. It did for me. I wish for everybody that you could be fortunate or blessed that people like Susan and Brad and Paula and Olga Lucia Monzon down in Bogota, wonderful people down there in Ecuador, Peru, Susie Chonglei and her family. Just some wonderful people. So that can happen, and it's not you're not the issue. You know, that's really the truth about it. But when most of the leaders that I was on a panel with leaders, and they were asked, what's your favorite thing that happened in your Nikan business? It was freedom. If your son needs $20,000 a year to go to Vanderbilt, I had that $20,000. If your daughter needs $6,000 for a trip to Spain, I had that money. When you can do things for your family when they need it, when someone's ill and you need to loan some money to and help them, it's an awesome feeling of, wow, I can actually have the freedom to say, yes, I can help you there. What is your biggest blessing? Very early on, we learned about the 5 pillars and the balanced lifestyle. And I was working 70 hours a week as a tennis coach, loving every minute of it, but my back was bothering me, didn't have enough money to repay all the bills I had, and was never comfortable. Enjoying it, making good money, but it's still never any money left at the end of the month. But when the 5 pillars concept came along, and then the income that came with it, I became very, very free of the stress of trying to figure out how to have money. Because I didn't have to work so many hours, I was able to actually relax my body, stretch, take massages and stuff like that. So the balance of the 5 pillars is a gift that just goes on giving, and it's something that you don't learn in school. I went to Florida State University, I graduated in geography, the path of least resistance. Hard to find a career you could get out, a curriculum you could get out of with a tennis background. Okay, how much time do I spend with Nikan daily? Everybody wants to know how much time do I need to put in. The bottom line is, whenever I get a chance to do Nikan, I do it. On a daily basis, I talk to a minimum of 2 or 3 people. I get 4, 5, 6 people maybe a day coming in, but I get on the phone and I call people up. And that's something I've got literally probably 1,500, 2,000 4x6 cards of people that have shopped with me before. So that's a powerful list. So whenever I have a goal of making something happen, I'll get on the phone with those people, and many of them are on Nikan, but they don't mind coming back in, or they don't mind ordering some of our new products. Why do people join Nikan? You need to know this. They're going to join because Nikan is fun. It's easy to see that it's fun. They also join because they need to make money, and they also, some of them, care about making a difference with their life. What better career could you pick? Whether it's a full-time or part-time venue for you, Nikan is one of the greatest for doing those 3 things. Who were you on the day you were born? Think about this. How many of us, by show of hands, really feel like you spent most of your years before 20 less than secure? Personal confidence. Were you a little bit low on personal confidence? Come on, put your arms up. All right. The bottom line is most people lack confidence in one area or another. They feel inadequate. And I know I did. I was a 5'3" skinny freshman in high school, got cut from the basketball team, and I was going to be a pro basketball player. And I decided to take up tennis, and I wasn't any good at all. But I decided as a sophomore I was going to be a professional tennis player. And God chose to bless me in those 2 endeavors while I was in high school And even though I was cut from the freshman team, I got on the team as a sophomore, didn't play as a junior, sat on the bench the first game of my senior year, and told my parents I was going to quit. My mom says, no, you're not going to quit. You're the best player on the team. Just hang in there. And the coach started me the second game. I played well. Started me the third game. I scored 27 points. I went on to be city scoring champion, picture in the paper 14 times, broke the school scoring record in 2 categories, and I had no idea I was that good. If you'd asked me, I would have said, that's not possible. And then as a tennis player, my senior year, I didn't lose a singles match, a doubles match, and I was state champ and ranked in the top 10 in 5 states. But I should have had confidence when I was young, but I never did really feel confident. I didn't know I could do those things as a senior in high school. So who were you on the day you were born? Were you a millionaire? Did you have a wonderful marriage? You had all those things, you just hadn't quite gotten to where you got to experience them. Everyone in this room is a millionaire whose money has not been deposited in their bank account. A few of you had it deposited, and congratulations. Someone said, are you a millionaire now? I said, I don't know if you count yourself as a millionaire if you don't earn $1 million every year, which I don't. But I've earned through my team of consultants $5 million over the past 5 years. So I had a relationship adjustment that cost me about $700,000. For those of you that don't know what a relationship adjustment is, it's called a divorce by some people. But, you know, life's full of ups and downs and bumps in the road, but the good news is this is the most wonderful way to spend your life. At a cellular level, the most gratifying thing is helping other people. When you help other people, it's just the most gratifying feeling, and that's what got my juices flowing. I know it helped Susan become the superstar that she is and attract people. Quality people will get in your business and be excited to be in this with you. You know, Dr. Brad Arns has worked 2 careers for, I think, maybe 18 years, Brad? 20 years now, full-time as a dentist and full-time as an EKIN person. I mean, he calls it part-time, but 47 trips to Columbia. I mean, he's worked harder than most anybody in the field, and he's still had his full-time practice. So people do extraordinary things, and this is where we are today. Today, we got to step it up a notch. When you go home to now, you go home where you're from, and decide you're going to put the pedal to the metal, up your ante a little bit, and probably nobody in the room, with the exception of a handful of these Royal Diamonds and Royal Ambassadors, ever really put in more than about 20% of your potential into the EKIN. So go back and make it happen. God bless all of you.